Why people respect you less. When you're too nice, psychology explained. Have you ever wondered why the more you help people, the less they seem to appreciate you? You answer their calls, support them during difficult times, forgive their mistakes, and always try to make them happy. Yet somehow they cancel plans with you, ignore your messages, disrespect your opinions, and only remember you when they need something. It's confusing, isn't it? Most people believe that if you're kind, the world will reward you with love and respect. But psychology tells a different story. The truth is that kindness without boundaries often invites disrespect instead of admiration. Today, you'll discover why this happens, what science says about it, and how you can remain a genuinely kind person without allowing others to take advantage of you. By the end of this video, you may never look at kindness the same way again. The biggest lie we were taught since childhood, most of us have heard the same advice. Always be nice. Always help others. Never say no. Good people are loved by everyone. These lessons sound beautiful. And to be clear, kindness itself is not the problem. The problem begins when kindness becomes fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of disappointing people. Psychologists call this people-pleasing behavior. Instead of helping because you truly want to, you help because you're afraid someone might dislike you. You smile even when you're hurt. You agree even when you disagree. You apologize even when you did nothing wrong. Over time, this changes the way people see you. Instead of viewing you as confident and generous, they begin seeing you as someone who can easily be controlled. Kindness versus people-pleasing. Let's understand the difference. A kind person helps because they choose to. A people-pleaser helps because they feel forced. A kind person can respectfully say no. A people-pleaser feels guilty for saying no. A kind person values others. A people-pleaser values everyone except themselves. This small difference changes everything. Because people naturally respect individuals who respect themselves. If you don't protect your own time, if you never express your opinions, if you allow everyone to cross your boundaries, you're teaching people how to treat you. And unfortunately, most people learn very quickly. Why human psychology works this way. Here's something fascinating. The human brain constantly measures value, not just the value of money, the value of time, attention, effort, respect, even relationships. Whenever something becomes unlimited, our brain slowly begins treating it as less valuable. Think about clean drinking water. Most people rarely appreciate it because it's available every day. Now imagine being stranded in a desert. Suddenly, one glass of water becomes priceless. This psychological principle affects relationships too. If your kindness is unlimited, if your attention is unlimited, if your time is unlimited, people slowly stop appreciating it. Not because they're evil, because that's how the human brain naturally works. The scarcity principle. Psychologists often describe this as the scarcity principle. People value what isn't always available. Think about luxury brands, limited edition products, exclusive memberships, rare opportunities. Scarcity increases perceived value. The exact same principle applies to people. Imagine two friends. The first friend says yes to everything. Need money? Yes. Need a ride? Yes. Need help moving? Yes. Need emotional support at midnight? Yes. Now imagine another friend. They're kind, but they have healthy boundaries. Sometimes they say yes. Sometimes they politely say no. Who usually receives more respect? The second person. Why? Because their time appears valuable. Their kindness feels like a gift rather than an obligation. When kindness becomes expected. At first, people appreciate your kindness. They thank you. They admire you. They tell everyone how amazing you are. But something slowly changes. Your kindness becomes normal. Instead of gratitude, they develop expectations. They stop saying thank you. They assume you'll always help. And when one day you finally say no, they're shocked. Some even become angry. Not because you've changed, but because you've stopped behaving the way they benefited from. This is one of the hardest lessons nice people ever learn. People often don't react badly because you're becoming selfish. They react badly because they're losing access to your unlimited generosity. The restaurant story. Imagine visiting a restaurant. The first time, the waiter gives you a free dessert. You're surprised. You feel grateful. The second visit, you receive another free dessert. You're happy again. The third visit, it happens once more. Now imagine your fourth visit. This time, there's no free dessert. Suddenly, you feel disappointed. What changed? Nothing. The restaurant never promised free desserts forever, but your brain created an expectation. Exactly the same thing happens with people. When you're constantly available, constantly helping, constantly sacrificing, people stop seeing your kindness as generosity. They begin seeing it as normal, and expectations quietly replace appreciation. Why nice people get ignored? Have you noticed something strange? Some of the kindest people often feel invisible. Their opinions are ignored. Their feelings are overlooked. Their efforts go unnoticed. Meanwhile, someone who speaks confidently receives attention almost instantly. This isn't always because they're smarter. It's because confidence communicates value. Confidence silently tells others, my opinions matter. My time matters. My boundaries matter. People naturally respond to that energy. Confidence attracts respect. Desperation attracts control. The hidden cost of always saying yes. Every time you say yes to something you don't want, you're saying no to something else. No to your own peace. No to your own goals. No to your own happiness. Many people don't realize this. They spend years living for everyone else, helping, fixing, rescuing, sacrificing. Then one day they wake up emotionally exhausted, not because kindness is exhausting, but because endless self-sacrifice is. Psychologists call this compassion fatigue. When you constantly give without recharging yourself, eventually, there's nothing left to give. A powerful question. Ask yourself honestly, if you stopped helping certain people today, would they still call you? Would they still invite you? Would they still value your company, or were they only interested in what you could do for them? This question is painful, but it reveals the truth about many relationships. Real friends appreciate who you are. Fake friends appreciate what you provide. And understanding this difference can completely change your life. Why people respect you less. When you're too nice, psychology explained. Why manipulative people always target nice people. Have you ever noticed that some people never ask confident individuals for unreasonable favors, but they always ask the nicest person in the room? That isn't a coincidence. It's psychology. Manipulative people are constantly observing others, even if they don't realize they're doing it consciously. They pay attention to small behaviors. Who apologizes first? Who avoids conflict? Who says yes without thinking? Who smiles even after being treated badly? These behaviors send a silent message. This person is unlikely to resist. Imagine a wolf searching for prey. It doesn't attack the strongest animal. It looks for the weakest or the one separated from the group. Manipulative people often behave in a similar way, not because they're evil by nature, but because human beings naturally take the path of least resistance. If one person always says yes and another confidently says no, who do you think they'll ask next time? The answer is obvious. This is why learning to set boundaries isn't selfish. It's protection. The psychology of boundaries. Many people misunderstand boundaries. They think boundaries push people away. In reality, healthy boundaries attract healthier relationships. A boundary simply tells people where your limits are. It says, I respect you, but I also respect myself. Without boundaries, relationships slowly become one-sided. One person keeps giving, the other keeps taking. And eventually, resentment replaces love. Imagine your house had no doors. Anyone could walk inside. Anyone could take your belongings. Anyone could enter your private space. Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Yet millions of people live exactly like this emotionally. They have no emotional doors, no limits, no protection. Everyone has access to their time, their energy, their emotions. Eventually, they feel emotionally robbed. The respect test. Human beings often test each other, sometimes without even realizing it. Imagine a coworker asks, can you stay late today? You immediately agree. The next week, they ask again. You agree again, then again, then again. Slowly, your willingness becomes expectation. People don't intentionally decide, I'm going to disrespect this person. Instead, they slowly adjust to whatever behavior you consistently allow. This is why psychologists often say, people treat you the way you teach them to treat you. Every yes teaches something. Every no teaches something too. 5 signs you're being used without realizing it. Sign number 1. They only contact you when they need something. Think carefully. Who messages you only when they need advice? Money? A favor? Help with work? But disappears the moment everything is fine. That's not friendship. That's convenience. Healthy relationships exist even when nobody needs anything. Sign number 2. You feel guilty. Saying no, one of the biggest signs of people-pleasing is guilt. Even when you're tired, busy, or emotionally exhausted, you still say yes. Why? Because disappointing someone feels worse than exhausting yourself. This is dangerous because guilt becomes the prison that keeps you trapped. Sign number 3. You apologize constantly. Have you ever apologized for asking a simple question, for expressing your opinion, for taking too long to reply, for existing? Many people apologize so often that they don't even notice anymore. Psychologists believe excessive apologizing slowly reduces perceived confidence. Confident people apologize when necessary, not automatically. Sign number 4. Your needs always come last. Imagine your phone battery. If you keep charging everyone else's phone while yours stays at 1%, eventually, your phone dies first. Exactly the same happens emotionally. If you never recharge yourself, you eventually burn out. Self-care isn't selfish. It's maintenance. Sign number 5. People become angry when you finally say no. This is perhaps the biggest sign. The first time you refuse a favor, some people suddenly call you selfish, cold, rude, unhelpful. Ask yourself, if one single no destroys a relationship, was it really friendship or was it dependence? Why saying no increases respect? This surprises many people. The word no often creates more respect than endless agreement. Why? Because saying no communicates something powerful. It says, my time has value. My energy has value. My priorities matter. Confident people don't say no because they dislike others. They say no because they understand that every yes has a cost. Every unnecessary yes steals time from something important. Your family, your health, your dreams, your peace. Successful people understand this deeply. That's why they protect their schedules, their energy, their attention. And ironically, people respect them even more because of it. The coffee experiment. Imagine 2 coffee shops. The first one gives away free coffee every single day. The second one offers free coffee only once a year. Which promotion creates more excitement? The second one. Scarcity creates appreciation. Unlimited access creates expectation. This doesn't mean becoming cold or selfish. It simply means allowing your kindness to remain valuable instead of predictable. Kindness becomes more meaningful when it's a choice, not an obligation. Why confidence feels attractive? Confidence isn't loud. It isn't arrogance. It isn't showing off. True confidence is quiet. It's the calm ability to disagree without feeling guilty, to say no without explaining yourself for 10 minutes, to walk away from disrespect without seeking revenge. Psychologists have found that confident people create emotional stability around themselves. Others naturally trust them more. Why? Because predictable self-respect creates safety. People know where they stand with confident individuals. People pleasers constantly change themselves depending on who they're talking to. This inconsistency creates confusion, and confusion reduces respect. A story you'll never forget. Imagine 2 employees. Both work equally hard. The first employee accepts every extra task, never complains, never says no. The second employee also works hard, but politely refuses unreasonable requests. 1 year later, who gets respected more? In many workplaces, it's the second employee. Why? Because professionalism isn't measured by endless sacrifice. It's measured by reliability, confidence, and healthy boundaries. The first employee accidentally taught everyone that their time was unlimited. The second employee taught everyone that their time mattered. That single difference changed everything. Why people respect you less when you're too nice, Psychology explained. The psychology of self-respect. Imagine standing in front of a mirror every morning. The person looking back at you is the one you spend every second of your life with. If you don't respect that person, it's very difficult to expect the rest of the world to do it. Many people think respect is something others give you. Psychology suggests something different. Respect begins with the standards you set for yourself, the way you speak, the way you react, the things you tolerate, the things you refuse to tolerate. Every decision quietly tells the world how valuable you believe you are. If you constantly accept disrespect, broken promises, manipulation, and dishonesty, people unconsciously assume that's acceptable. But when you calmly protect your boundaries, something changes. People begin adjusting their behavior. Not because they're afraid of you, because they realize you respect yourself. And self-respect is contagious. Why you don't need everyone to like you. One of the biggest traps in life is trying to be liked by everyone. Think about the most respected people you know. Do they have critics? Absolutely. No matter how kind, talented, or successful someone becomes, there will always be people who disagree with them. That's normal. The moment you stop chasing everyone's approval, you become emotionally free. You stop changing your personality to fit every situation. You stop pretending. You stop apologizing for existing. Instead, you become authentic. Ironically, authenticity attracts genuine respect far more than perfection ever could. The difference between being nice and being good. These two words sound similar, but they're completely different. Being nice means avoiding conflict. Being good means doing what's right, even when it's uncomfortable. Sometimes being good requires saying no. Sometimes it requires telling someone the truth. Sometimes it requires walking away from toxic relationships. Real kindness isn't about making everyone happy. It's about acting with honesty, compassion, and self-respect. 5 habits that build respect. Habit 1. Speak slowly and clearly. Confident people rarely rush their words. They don't speak to impress. They speak to communicate. When you slow down, people naturally pay more attention. Silence often carries more power than speaking nonstop. Habit 2. Stop over-explaining yourself. Imagine saying, "I'm sorry. I know you're busy. I just wanted to ask if it's okay." Now compare it with, "Could you help me with this?" Simple, clear, confident. The more you over-explain every decision, the more uncertain you appear. You don't need to justify every boundary. No is a complete sentence. Habit 3. Keep your promises to yourself. Most people keep promises to others, but constantly break promises made to themselves. I'll start exercising tomorrow. I'll stop texting toxic people. I'll focus on my goals. Tomorrow never comes. Every broken promise weakens self-confidence. Every kept promise strengthens self-respect. Confidence grows through action, not motivation. Habit 4. Stay calm under pressure. Emotionally strong, people don't react to every insult. They don't argue with everyone. They don't need to win every conversation. Psychologists call this emotional regulation. The calmer you remain, the more powerful you appear. Calmness isn't weakness, it's self-control. Habit 5. Choose your circle carefully. The people around you shape your mindset. Spend enough time with people who disrespect you, and you'll begin questioning your own value. Spend time with people who encourage you, challenge you, and celebrate your growth, and your confidence naturally increases. Protect your environment. It protects your future. A story that explains everything. Imagine 2 candles. The first candle lights every candle around it. Eventually, it burns out completely. The second candle also lights others, but protects its own flame. Years later, it's still shining. Many people believe sacrificing yourself completely is kindness. It isn't. Real kindness continues because it also takes care of itself. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give love when you've destroyed yourself trying to earn it. The biggest lesson: psychology teaches us people often believe respect comes from working harder, giving more, trying harder, apologizing more. But psychology teaches something different. Respect grows where self-respect already exists. When you value your time, others begin valuing it. When you protect your peace, others become careful not to disturb it. When you refuse disrespect, healthy people admire you. Unhealthy people leave. Either way, you win. Final message. If you've spent years trying to make everyone happy, remember this. You are not responsible for carrying everyone's emotional weight. You are not responsible for fixing every problem. You are not responsible for sacrificing your happiness so others remain comfortable. Being kind is beautiful. Being compassionate is powerful. Helping others makes the world better. But kindness should never require abandoning yourself. The strongest people aren't the ones who always say yes. They're the ones who know exactly when to say yes and exactly when to say no. So from today, choose kindness, choose honesty, choose courage, and most importantly, choose self-respect. Because the moment you begin respecting yourself, the world slowly starts doing the same. Ending CTA. If this video changed the way you think about kindness and respect, leave a comment telling us which lesson affected you the most. Subscribe for more psychology videos that help you understand human behavior, relationships, and the hidden patterns of the mind. Remember, the people who truly value you will never ask you to lose yourself just to keep them happy.